I went out and I filled out 5 a day. Sometimes I filled out 2 sheets a day, and I believe there's 10 things on each sheet, 10 spaces for the jobs. So I went back with these sheets. I got $28.57 from my wife and I for 1 week to live on. That doesn't even pay the rent.
Over 1 million Canadians are unemployed in 1978. In Nova Scotia, there is 1 job vacancy for every 30 applicants. 1,000 shipyard workers in Halifax are laid off.
We want job security. We don't want a job for 2 weeks laid off tomorrow and then you can't get your UIC benefits. Right. You gotta wait 3 months. What are you supposed to do in the meantime?
What kind of pressure do you think it'll take?
Tell your landlord I'm gonna pay my rent with air.
As time goes on, it gets harder and harder to go to job interviews. I think that you feel more and more inadequate, and that somehow or other there's something wrong with you personally. It's an incredible feeling of sort of feeling isolated and alone and alienated, and feeling like you don't know what to do with your time, and it's really difficult. I've talked to a lot of women, and I know I've gone through this myself, where you begin to go, well, what am I doing all this for? What's the point? I go out every day, and it's like I have to sell myself, and yet nobody is willing to give me a job, and yet the whole thing is it isn't my fault. It isn't those other people's fault. It's the fact that the jobs aren't there.
You kids see?
I'm employed.
Are you employed?
I am. Yeah, paper route.
You got a paper route? Yeah.
Paper route. Them guys don't. They're just getting paper picking blueberries. She helps me do the papers.
Oh yeah.
Come on.
What's this here for?
For the employment.
You're doing a thing on unemployment in general.
Why, geez, you should. Someone should do it.
I've been here 10 years, and I know I had met more friends and met nicer people and had more opportunities. You got the White Hope here, and you're hungry. Hope College. To get a sandwiches in the morning. You got your evening. You got your evening for 5 o'clock. You can line up, get something to eat. And the clergymen are very good. I couldn't complain. But I fell and smashed this up. I think I passed out. I was hungry, I was on the road for 7 hours hitchhiking, But when I got Cape Breton up, I went home for a while, for a month, and didn't have the money to start hitchhiking up. It's a long drift, A long winding road. It's not a straight road, It's very hard to get a drive.
Were you looking for work up in Cape Breton?
Yeah, I went back and tried to make it hired onto the mines, Lingan mine. But I was a little too old for that then, I'm 50, But I worked in the pit number 12 for 26 years. Started with a little boy, 16.
Is that right?
Yeah. I worked from 43 to 68. I know she was going to blow up. I knew that she was getting down too far, so I left that day. And she did blow up. She's not there no more. I don't know where to move next. But this place is getting worse and worse and worse. As far as work comes, there's no work here.
There are a lot of men down at the shipyards who were laid off that also have to leave the province, They have to leave.
You're forced out. You're forced out. I'm not a lazy man. I got 3 boys down there waiting for me. They're in the same position. One gone up there. And that's only a couple of them.
In the fall of 1978, a coalition of labor and community groups is formed in Halifax to organize the unemployed.
We've had enough. We want jobs and we want decent wages. And I don't think anybody can deny that to us. Okay, we're going to be following a route down Spring Garden Road. It's a street march, remember?
We want jobs! We want jobs! Come on, here! Jobs! 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 Jobs!
about the times ahead. They ain't so good and they ain't so bad. Let me tell you about the times ahead, walking down Freedom Trail. Well, I've been north and I've been south, making a living from hand to mouth. I've been here and I've been there, walking down Freedom Trail. Let me tell you about the times I had. They ain't so good and they ain't so bad. Let me tell you about the times I had, walking down Freedom Trail. Well, I lived in your cities and I lived in your schemes. It's a long road to winding to the land of my dreams. I'll make it back to your country streams, walking down Freedom Trail.
In January 1978, the Halifax Coalition for Full Employment holds a public meeting.
And here's the joke. If you vote Liberal, don't sit here, your ass will maybe in Ottawa. That's all I'm saying.
Hi, fellas. Myself, I'm Charlie Moser, and I'm a good union man, but I used to be an unemployed just like you fellas there, too. And I'm going to tell you right now, the only way that you're going to get those assholes, like this gentleman says, off of it, is to be unionized and stand together and march on the Ottawa in our provincial government. Tell them you don't want welfare checks and you don't want a unemployment check. You want a paycheck every week. Thanks a lot.
I'm W.J. Wilson, and I represent the United Transportation Union, and we are members of the Halifax Dartmouth District Labour Council. I just want to say one or two things about just really a takeoff on what all the speakers have said tonight. Don't be fooled by this national unity crap. This is not the prime problem in this country today. National unity, it's unemployment. Not a majority of Canadians, but most Canadians, in a recent survey said that in the next election, national unity will be the greatest issue. That shouldn't be. That most people should realize that unemployment is the greatest issue. Trudeau is using the Canadian flag. Trudeau is using the Canadian flag as a carpet to sweep unemployment and rising inflation under it and hide it away from you. Don't lose sight of that and keep organized.
Full employment under capitalism doesn't mean anything. They need us to be unemployed. They need us to compete with each other for the lowest price of our work. And so they have to have us unemployed. It's not because of Trudeau or it's not some kind of accident that there's unemployment right now. It's because capitalism is in a really severe crisis.
We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved just like a tree that stands by the water. We shall not be moved. Well, we are unemployed together and we shall not be moved. We are unemployed together and we shall not be moved just like a tree that stands by the water. We shall not be moved. No, we shall not be moved. We shall not be moved just like a tree that stands by the water. We shall not be moved. One more time, everybody clap. No, we shall not be moved. That's right. We shall not be moved just like a tree that stands by the water. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved.
Halifax Shipyards, 1978. Over 1,000 men are laid off by Hawker Siddeley, a British multinational. Hawker Siddeley wants out, despite receiving $30 million in federal government shipbuilding subsidies since 1970.
All depends what you're going to do, sell or not now. That's all the word is right now, waiting for us.
What could you be building now to get the men back?
That new floating lot that they've been promising us.
Yeah? Who's
Yeah.
been promising in that?
Well, the government said they're going to give it to us, but I don't know what long.
by?
What?
Unemployment or?
Unemployment.
Yeah. How is it?
Oh, it's not too bad, I guess. All it depends. It's not enough to live off. You got to come back to work sooner or later.
Yeah.
Really, for family man, got a family in the house support, he can't do it without unemployment.
How many men are off?
I would say 800 or 900.
800 and 900.
Right.
Are they all getting some, is it pretty tough for them now?
Well, I would say it is, yeah, right.
Yeah. What could they be building down here to get those men back?
Oh, they could build lots of things, trawlers and you name it.
Yeah.
Navy refits we should be doing, we ain't getting any.
Do you think there could be more done by the government?
Sure, there could be if they want to get off of their, you know what?
What do you think the men will be doing if this thing keeps up like this?
I don't know, it's not too much work around. I don't see too much that they can do, really.
Yeah.
Outside, it's pretty quiet right now.
Do you think if you got 900 men together and marched down to the legislature, do you think they might listen then, the politicians?
Well, it wouldn't hurt, it might do something.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Well, I got a long ways to go, buddy. You'll see you later.
Okay, yeah,
Right.
Thanks a lot.
I got the power and I got the strength and I work all my life in the shipyard. We want employment. We're people and we got the best shipyard in Canada right here, and we haven't got people got guts enough to put the power. We can build a big dock. We can build everything.
If you acquired a plant which you didn't particularly want, but you got it for nothing, and if they didn't guarantee you a profit, if they guarantee you a profit on it, well, then so you're going to keep it. But if they don't, what do? So you don't improve anything, you don't replace anything, you don't put in any modern equipment, you let everything go down the drain and pull out, eh? I would be inclined to say, look, I'm sorry, you can go and good riddance, but you leave your equipment here. That equipment was bought with the blood and labor of the people that work here.
Charles Murray helped organize the shipyard workers in the 1940s.
So a company is acquired in Canada. What with? Do they send money in here to buy the? Did Hawker Siddeley bring money from England to buy the shipyards? I bet you they didn't bring 5 cents. They acquired it with Canadian money, but Canada doesn't own it. The Nova Scotia government is talking about buying it for $5 million, is it?
Yeah, $5 million.
Yeah. And what are they going to give them the $5 million for? For having a few years when they allowed Nova Scotians to work in their bloody plant?
The Reagan government, shortly before their election loss, decides against public ownership of the Halifax shipyards. Instead, they choose a familiar course. They entice new owners from central Canada and Holland with $22.5 million in public funds. Despite this generosity, only 200 of the 1,000 shipyard workers are brought back to work by the new owners.
This song is dedicated to 1,300 workers who were laid off at the shipyards, and it's called Change Some Partners, a tune from the 40s.
(1978), 5,000 Nova Scotians are forced by the federal government to pay back from $200 to $900 in UIC overpayments due to a government computer error. The Minister of Manpower, Bud Cullen, orders manpower staff across the country to stop collecting their own unemployment figures because they are a source of embarrassment to the government.
It's making me very angry. I have to look for jobs like this. They give me a choice of $40 to $50 a week, okay? Now, I'm presently getting $63 a week on for my pogey. So if I take a job like this, I'm going to have to lie to these guys, okay, and say that I haven't got a job yet or anything else, and try to live through the paranoia of drawing pogey and getting paid on this job here because I'm not going to quit my pogey, stop my pogey for less pay for a job, even though I'm working. That'd be a waste of effort because I'm just getting by as it is on $63 a week.
Gerald Yetman, President of the Nova Scotia Federation of Labor, addresses the Atlantic Province's Economic Council.
I have to go back, and a year and a half ago when I mentioned about the loss of life, the very thing that we value so most, that people would take because of the loss of a job. It's hard to comprehend, I know, but what the hell do you tell a woman and 5 little children from 14 down to 8 that find their father with the head blown off on the floor of a house with a note that he'll be better off if they help me, I couldn't find a job. I'm not a very soft man. But by God, I left there with tears in my eyes, and if I had been made of iron, I would have. And I rededicated myself at that time to do something. I kept that inside this gut for 4 years. It happened in '72. Then a year and a half ago, I burst it out because I was fed up of not being able to motivate and move the government. And I know of 3 others. Since that time, even the Minister of Lands and Forests and the records of the Assembly here in Halifax has pointed out there's 45 suicides in the Cape Breton County. I know of 2 of the 4 in Cape Breton. Perhaps some of the other 45 that he talks about, out of the total of 47, would be a result. That's what unemployment's doing. The sheriff in Cape Breton County says there's more than 1 person a week losing their home. The writs that have been issued because people can't pay their bills are over 3,000, up from 1,500 the year before. The alcoholic referral centers are filled. Broken homes, you name it. That's the kind of suffering that unemployment causes.
They break the board, and then, they slip in, and there's a lot of stairs you have to go. To get up to the top, have to be going upstairs and stairs and stairs, and some steps are broken, right? So they just try to climb their way up, so when they get in there, they can't get out.
Down the graveyard, this man was sleeping in this bed, and they made a bed last night.
What were they doing there?
Sleeping.
Why do they have to sleep there?
Because they didn't have enough money to go to the Salvation Army.
Because the clothes is all ripped up, and they have wood for the bed.
You got no potential. Hey, right here, son. Hey, son. Right here. Right here.
New Options, in the north end of Halifax, is an alternative to the traditional school system for out-of-work use.
Trainee blues, taking out the garbage and sweeping up the floor. Learn how to sell, what an awful bore. They promise a promotion, but I think it's a joke. Can't wait for my lunch break to sneak out for a smoke. Last week I was on hardware, well this week I'm in shoes. I got the work out of the wall, go manager trainee blues.
Well, I worked mostly for pizzas. I was a waitress for Venus Pizza for 3 years, but then I quit right and went back to school. Then I tried other places to get, and they would say, well, you haven't got enough experience, or they give you some bullshit or something like that.
At one time, I fit into society because I did what the society wanted me to do. I worked for Algoma Steel. I worked for the next shot. I did this. I peddled vacuum cleaners. I peddled everything under the sun you could think of. I have gone through, since I was 16 years old, since I left home, I have gone through so many jobs, it's not funny. I have quit because I'm not happy with it, because I feel that they just come along and just give you a little boot and say, here, I'll give you 50 cents more an hour if you do this for me. Well, that 50 cents more an hour is not making me happy, because I am not happy at doing what he wants me to do.
Companies have money, but what do they want to give money for? It's their money, it's their earnings, their profits.
Where'd they get it?
Off us. So they make it. They don't care. They don't care. All they care about is number one. I'm number one. This is my money. I'll keep it.
Yeah.
That's all they're worrying about. Number one.
Right.
They ain't worrying about the rest.
That's right. We're the money makers, and they're the makers.
That's right.
They get. We don't win nothing. They win it all.
We can just fight back, fight it. If we have to go socialist.
What does socialist mean to you? What do you mean when you say that?
It's a government where people do their own thing. Trudeau will not have anything to do with it. We could throw Hockey Sidley out of here. We could take over the Dartmouth one too if we wanted to. We could take over anything we wanted to. The people could, because it would be a people's government, a people's state. They could do what they wanted instead of what the government wanted. Instead of having, being shitted on by Upper Canadians and that stuff, or whatever, we could do our own thing, right? All of Canada could if the workers got together and they decided to do something about it. You see, but it has to be organized.
Don't know where to start.
The first thing to start is just to get somebody in, just to go to it. Just get a petition and everything else.
People for that.
Well, and go to, even if you have to go to the houses, knock at the houses' door, the people's doors, and say, would you like to be in a petition to help get a job? I mean, no one's going to turn that down if they want a job that desperate. But do we have to fight to live?
We fight with words. We can gain more respect.
Right.
We can gain more respect. We can gain the feeling of other working people in Canada.
October 1978. The Canadian Union of Postal Workers' legal right to strike is outlawed by the Trudeau government. Postal workers across the country defy the back-to-work order. In Halifax, workers continue picketing despite a court injunction.
Victory!
This is not a fight of CUPW. I mean, this is a fight of entire labour movement and all workers in Canada, whether they're organised or unorganised. If the government succeeds in taking away our right, not only to strike, but the right to negotiate, that is that we have to go through binding arbitration. It's only a step. And then you have the entire public service, the entire public sector. Then you hop over to the private sector and you start dealing with, again, the labour code and everything else. And because the crisis in terms of economy, unemployment, inflation, and Trudeau can't deal with those, so he has to somehow show that they have strong government. So they attack an organization that has strength, that is publicly known, and that is CUPW, and that's why they're attacking us. But we're not going to give up. We're not going to bow down and be slaves. This is 1978.
October 25th. The federal government authorizes RCMP raids on the offices of Cup W locals and the national office.
How can you go into anything that's personal?
Oh, no. It's in this building, the search warrant covers what's in this building, and I'm going to look at it.
I'm in this building, and you're not going to search me.
Yes, I may.
No, you're
before I'm
not.
done here.
You should like hell.
Yes, I may.
You may think you are. You got a search warrant for property, but not for persons.
What's on these pictures?
There's nothing on those pictures. We send all our literature by microfilm.
Thank you.
Thank you. That one's empty.
What's your name?
What's my name?
Yes.
What's your name?
My name's Corporal Bishop. I'm with the
Corporal
RC.
Bishop? I'm
Yes.
Tom Berger.
Tom Berger, right? Yes.
Corporal Bishop, what are the RCMP doing here anyway?
I have no comment.
Who sent the RCMP here?
I have no comment.
Well, I'm taking the documents, so if you wish, you can take both sides.
Is it, bud? Yeah. Take it right down? Yeah.
Tell us what you're doing, Mom.
We're making a copy of everything that they're stealing from us. We're making a copy of everything so that we know what they take.
We'd like to know under what act or law the RCMP are doing all these things.
I'm afraid I have no comment at the moment.
How are we as a member of the public going to find that out?
It'll be discussed in court.
War Measures Act tomorrow.
Postal workers are forced back to work by the Trudeau government. Halifax shipyard workers wait. The Coalition for Full Employment contests UIC overpayments. Unemployment remains at record levels.
We should all work together and try to get, what we want.
That's right.
Because the fellow that finds the solution himself, he's no longer the working class people. He got all the money he wants. He don't care about us no more. So we should all start to work together and find a solution for the whole working class group, every one of us.
And he brought up about Horner. That's a wonderful fellow. He's a working man's friend, that fellow. Especially shipyard workers.
Why do you say that?
Well, didn't you read what he said in the paper?
What was that?
Did you? Oh, my God. He said they probably wanted to be on unemployment, the Maritimers. He says half of them probably wanted to be on unemployment. No, that's not right.
They're trying to divide us, but they can't divide us. If we really want to do something, we're going to do it anyway. If someone really wants to do something, he's going to do it anyway, right? So there you go. They can't divide us, because if we really want to do it, we can do it. So whoever makes up an excuse, it's just their own excuse. There ain't no excuses, because if you really want to do something, you can do it, and that's all there's to it.
Produced by Tom Berger and Bill McKigan of the Atlantic Filmmakers Co-op in Halifax. Musical credits to Buddy and the Boys, the musicians of Meat Cove, Chris Philpotts and Morrill Scott Brown, and George Pike. With thanks to postal workers, shipyard workers, the Halifax Coalition for Full Employment, and the people at New Options.